Becoming a millionaire is no easy feat. We've heard people say that it would take years of consistent work to make that first million. But the crazy thing is that there are some people who became millionaires in completely ridiculous ways. From selling pixels or even creating a pet rock, here are some of the ways that people laughed all the way to the bank. Yo app. There's a huge chance that you may not have heard of the Yo app, and that's because it's no longer a thing right now. But in its day, the Yo app was incredibly popular and so simple that you would be shocked that it brought in millions of dollars in revenue. All the app would do is allow you to send the word yo to someone else, and that's all it did. Funny enough, what started out as a joke by a developer who created it on April Fool's Day in 2014 quickly started catching on. With hundreds of downloads daily, this developer knew that he would have to devote more time to this. So he quit his job to work on the app full time, and within a few months, it got millions of downloads. And people would use it to wake their friends or just notify them randomly. At its peak, the app was worth up to $10 million, as hundreds of millions of Yos were sent out daily. So there's no doubt about it, the Yo app turned the developer into a millionaire in a short time. The millionhomepage.com. Faced with the need to pay for his university degree without searching for capital or going into debt, Alex came up with a simple yet genius way to make some money. It all started with the website millionhomepage.com, and all it had were 1,000,000 pixels at 1,000 by 1,000 pixel grids. The website had 1,000,000 pixels, and the plan was to sell each pixel for $1. The crazy part is that getting the domain set up cost Alex only $50. Since he had no advertising budget, he spent the next few weeks talking to family and friends about it. This paid off when he sold 4,700 pixels successfully. Then he started spending on advertising and wrote a press release which got picked up by news outlets like The Guardian and BBC. When the press release was finally out, he made another $3,000, and that was how the website became viral. Over the next few weeks, the website was getting thousands of hits per day, and it took just a few months to get to $500,000. Less than 5 months after starting millionhomepage.com, Alex earned $999,000. So he decided to auction off the last 1,000 pixels. The auction took 11 days on eBay, with the winner bidding $38,000. And that's how Alex became a millionaire from selling pixels. The Walking Billboard. Most times when we think about billboards, we imagine those huge signs we see at strategic positions on the road. But when you think about it, nowhere is really off limits to advertisers when it comes to promoting their products. You can find ads on bumper stickers, home items, and even people. So Jason Sadler decided to use himself and some of his friends to make money through advertising. First, he created a YouTube channel called iwearyourshirt.com, and that's exactly what he was doing. Jason and his team of employees would put on shirts advertising any website or brand, and they became walking billboards for several companies. As crazy as this may sound, this became a huge hit, and they made an insane amount of money from this idea. Excused Absence Network. Many of us have that time when we would love to stay off work for at least a day, but our excuses are not exactly company standard. But in 2007, one man decided to come up with an idea that would help employees get time off work. The website, excusedabsence.com, had thousands of excuse letters, jury summons, doctor's notes, and basically any document that could help you make a good excuse at work to stay away for a while. The crazy thing about this is that it didn't take much for the owner of the website to get started. All he needed was $300 and a laptop, and he made millions of dollars from selling these excuses at $25 each. The snag here was that the website became so popular and garnered such a huge reputation with a high success rate that it became an open secret. People started using it way too often, and that got the attention of employers. Pizza.com. Who knew that the internet would become such a huge thing today? Well, back in 1994, not all the cool domain names on the internet were taken, and people were still skeptical about that thing called the World Wide Web. Then Chris Clark came along and bought the domain name for pizza.com at just $20. He didn't want to use the website himself, but just bought it as a cool idea. Well, that cool idea became huge about a decade later when the internet became a big deal. Chris had been going on with his life and probably forgot at some point that he had the domain name, which clearly belonged to Chris. 14 years after buying pizza.com for $20, Chris decided to put it up for auction, which resulted in an impressive bidding war. Finally, a company paid $2.6 million for it, turning Chris into an instant millionaire. Scrub Daddy. When we're done explaining this crazy way someone became a millionaire, the first thing you would say is, why didn't you think of that yourself? The truth is, some of them never looked like million-dollar ideas in the first place. Let's take a look at Scrub Daddy. Sponges have always been normal. We use them for cleaning dishes, and pretty much that's it. But someone realized that they don't exactly give you happy vibes, and that gave birth to the Scrub Daddy idea. When it made its debut on a television show, all we saw was a cute as heck little sponge with a permanent smiley face. This sponge brought in quite a lot of money for Aaron Krause, making him a millionaire. And that's how to get millions of dollars from making a fancy kitchen sponge with a positive attitude. Snuggie. 2008 was the year of the Snuggie. Scott Boylan created his Snuggie company on the idea of creating super comfy clothes to relax in. The genius thing about this product is that once you hear the name, you'll have an idea of exactly what it's about. So instead of lounging around in pajamas or a bathrobe, people would buy these full-sleeve, body-length blankets that envelop them like a parcel. While some people may have laughed at the idea then, it turned out great. Snuggies became more than just a buzzword and started raking in millions of dollars. In the first year alone, this company sold about 20 million of these at $19.95 each. So it's safe to say that Scott Boylan is rolling around in millions of dollars. Catching a baseball. Phil Ozerski was a longtime Cardinals fan who probably attended every single game until that moment that his life would change. This was during the final game of the 1998 baseball season, just at the point where Mark McGwire hit his 70th home run. The MLB was occupied with ensuing the home run race between Sammy Sosa and McGwire. Meanwhile, the ball that broke the record was on a free fall right from the sky. And where would it land? Right in Phil Ozerski's hands. And you can only imagine how he felt at that moment. Of course, he knew the value of that ball and didn't budge when the Cardinal officials tried to force him into handing it over. Phil made the best decision of his life to hang on to that ball and eventually auctioned it off for a whopping $3 million. Pet rock. If you were asked what type of pet you would love to have in your home, the last thing that would pop into your mind would be a rock, because that just isn't a pet. But one man was able to make this work, and it's quite a shocker. Dahl was a former advertising executive who sold pet rocks for a few months, and this turned him into a millionaire. He must have been a pretty great pitch to make that work. Dahl convinced people that having a pet rock was unproblematic since it wouldn't cry for food or get into your space. This came alongside a hilarious manual on how to care for the hassle-free pet and a cardboard box in the shape of a pet carrier. With each rock sold at almost $4 each, it took just 6 months to make a whopping $15 million. Slinky. Richard James got really clumsy while working one day and dropped his tension spring. As he saw it slink away across the floor, he immediately got the idea for a new product. And that's how the Slinky was born. This toy, which is fashioned exactly like a spring, was introduced to the world and it became an instant hit. James got himself a cool $250,000 from this invention. Now you know some of the absolutely crazy ways people have become millionaires. And that's a wrap. Is there anyone you know that became a millionaire in a crazy way? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? Well, we're always posting amazing content like this, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching.